It started on a night like any other. The stars were bright, the sky was calm, and most of humanity was asleep. But far above, something was moving, silent, invisible, and not human. At 3:12 a.m., every satellite orbiting Earth stopped working. Signals vanished. Communications dropped. In control rooms across the world, NASA, ESA, ISRO, JAXA, screens went black one after another. At first, people thought it was a system failure. Engineers rebooted servers, checked connections, and blamed solar flares. But then, one operator in Houston saw something strange. A dark shape, like a shadow, moving across the satellite feed before it died. Within minutes, the same report came from Japan, then Russia, then India. Something, or someone, was out there. In a military base deep underground, Commander Elias Vaughn was awakened by an emergency call. His sharp eyes, tired from years of service, opened instantly. "What's the situation?" he asked, his voice calm but heavy. "Sir, we've lost satellite contact worldwide. No communication from any orbital units. It's not random, it's targeted." Vaughn stood up, fully alert now. "Targeted by what?" The soldier hesitated. "Unknown, sir. But there's movement in low orbit. Large objects. Dozens of them." Vaughn frowned. "Get me a live visual feed. Anything." Far above Earth, a fleet of black ships hovered silently in the shadow of the moon. They looked like long metal spears, sharp, dark, and almost organic. They made no sound, no light. Only their outlines showed against the stars, and then, one by one, they moved. The first appeared over New York City, then London, Moscow, Beijing, Sydney, all at the same time. The sky shimmered for a second, then a faint hum filled the air. People looked up, confused. Something massive was hiding behind the clouds. Moments later, every TV screen, phone, and billboard across the planet switched on by itself, static. Then a deep voice spoke. Cold, mechanical, emotionless. "We are the Xorath Dominion. Earth is now under our command. Surrender, or be erased." The message repeated in every language. Then silence again. Panic exploded across the world. Cities went dark. Military jets scrambled into the sky, but their radar systems failed. Missiles wouldn't lock. The alien ships were invisible to all technology. News anchors shouted over each other, trying to stay calm. Social media filled with blurry videos of huge black shapes above the clouds. Some said it was fake. Others said it was the end of the world. But Commander Vaughn knew better. He had seen this before. Not the ships, but the signs. He opened a locked file on his tablet, marked Project Aegis. It was humanity's hidden defense system, a network of underground bunkers, weapon satellites, and AI-controlled drones. It had been built in secret after the first alien signal detected 20 years ago. No one was supposed to know it existed. Now it was the only hope. Vaughn pressed a red switch on his desk. A female voice spoke from the speakers. "Commander Vaughn, activation request confirmed. Do you wish to awaken the Aegis network?" "Yes," he said. "Activate all global nodes." Across the world, deep underground, machines came to life. Giant steel doors opened. Robotic arms unfolded. Massive cannons rose from hidden silos in deserts, oceans, and mountains. Earth was waking up. Meanwhile, above the clouds, one alien ship slowly descended over New York. Its hull shimmered like black glass, absorbing radar waves and light. People on the streets pointed their phones at it, recording in disbelief. The air turned heavy. Pressure built up. Then a bright beam of blue light shot from the ship straight down toward the city. But just before it hit, something unexpected happened. A beam of red light fired upward from the ground, a laser defense cannon powered by Aegis technology. It struck the alien beam mid-air, creating a massive explosion that shook the city. Windows shattered, alarms screamed, and people ran in every direction. But the alien ship didn't fire again. It stopped, almost like it was confused. The Xorath commander aboard the ship spoke in a strange, clicking language. Human resistance detected. Primitive energy weapon. Unexpected. And lies immediately. For the first time, they realized Earth was not a simple target. In the Aegis command room, Vaughn watched as data filled the screens. "They're testing our defenses," he muttered. They expected us to surrender. A young officer turned to him. "Sir, do we respond?" Vaughn's eyes were cold. "No, let them think we're weaker than we are. We only strike when we know how to hurt them." He looked at the largest screen, showing all the alien ships above Earth. "These things made a mistake coming here. They think humans are just another species to conquer." He leaned closer, his voice a quiet growl. "But humans, we fight back." As dawn broke over the planet, the alien ships stayed still, watching, waiting. Humanity was silent too, holding its breath. Somewhere in the darkness of space, a new war had begun. A war the Xorath Dominion thought they had already won. They didn't know yet Earth was about to prove them wrong. The world had changed overnight. Cities that never slept were silent. Airplanes were grounded. Satellites were blind. Humanity stood in the dark, not knowing if the next moment would bring peace or fire from the sky and deep beneath the earth. In a forgotten bunker under the Rocky Mountains, Commander Elias Vaughn was already preparing for war. The room was cold and filled with glowing screens. Dozens of people worked quietly, eyes locked on streams of strange data. The walls shook faintly as explosions echoed far above. Vaughn stood in the center, calm, focused. "Report," he said. "Sir," replied an officer, "the Xorath ships are holding position over major cities. No communication since their first message. They're scanning something." Vaughn frowned. "Scanning what?" The officer hesitated. "Us, sir. Every energy source, every weapon, every signal. They're learning." Vaughn crossed his arms. "Then we make sure they learn the wrong things." A young technician turned in her chair. "Sir, we've reconnected a few nodes from the old Aegis system. The main AI is booting, but we're missing power from several continents." "Where?" "Asia and Europe. The relay bunkers went dark years ago. They're offline." Vaughn walked closer to the console. "Then wake them manually." The technician looked nervous. "Sir, that means using the old relay codes. They were banned after the Geneva breach." "Do it anyway," Vaughn said firmly. "This isn't politics. This is survival." Far away, in a quiet city in India, a woman sat alone in a small research station filled with old computers. Her name was Dr. Mira Han. For years, she'd worked in secret for Project Aegis, decoding alien transmissions that no one believed were real. When the world went dark, she knew exactly what it meant. Her radio crackled with static. Then through the noise, a single voice came through, deep, steady, familiar. "This is Commander Vaughn. To all surviving Aegis units, the network is active. If you can hear this, you are Aegis." Mira froze for a second, then smiled faintly. "He's alive," she typed quickly, reconnecting the power to her systems. The old computers hummed to life, screens flashing with strange alien patterns. Then, suddenly, one of the patterns changed. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Her eyes widened. "That's communication frequency data." She started decoding it. What she found made her blood run cold. The Xorath ships weren't only scanning Earth, they were mapping every human brain connected to a network. Phones, implants, pacemakers, neural devices, everything. They were studying the human mind. Back in the bunker, Vaughn listened carefully as Mira's voice came through the transmission line. "Commander, they're using quantum resonance to study our neural patterns. They want to learn how we think, how we feel." Vaughn frowned. "Why would they care about that?" "Because they don't understand it," Mira replied. "They're machines that mimic life, but they can't feel emotion. To them, fear, courage, anger, all of it is chaos. They want to remove it." Vaughn clenched his fist. "Then we'll teach them what chaos really means." He turned to his officers. "Get me everything we have on quantum interference weapons. If they're using frequencies, we can jam them. Sir, that could shut down our own systems. Then we adapt. That's what humans do best." Meanwhile, above the clouds, the alien fleet began to move again. Small black drones dropped from the motherships, hundreds of them. They flew silently, scanning buildings, people, machines. They looked like insects made of glass and metal. Wherever they went, electronics died instantly. In Paris, streetlights went dark. In Tokyo, communication towers burst into flames. In New York, entire blocks lost power. The Xorath were cleansing the planet, removing resistance before the real attack began. Inside the Aegis bunker, alarms blared. "Commander, new contacts detected. They're deploying ground scouts." "Deploy defense drones," Vaughn ordered. "Protect the relays." The command room filled with noise as operators worked rapidly. On one screen, a live feed showed human-built drones launching from hidden silos. Small, fast, armed with plasma cannons. They met the alien scouts in midair. The first battle of the war had begun. Bright streaks of light filled the sky as human drones clashed with alien machines. Metal tore through metal. Fire rained down. One human drone crashed near the bunker entrance, and the security cameras caught something. One of the alien drones was still alive. It crawled like a wounded creature, scanning the walls, adapting. Vaughn watched the screen closely. "Look at that. It's learning how to breach. Sir, should we destroy it?" Vaughn shook his head slowly. "No, bring it in. I want to know what's inside." Hours later, the drone sat on a steel table, surrounded by scientists. Sparks flickered from its broken shell. Its insides pulsed with a strange blue light. Dr. Mira joined through hologram link, her face projected above the table. "Careful," she warned. "That's not just technology. It's part of a hive network. If it's still active, the others can see us." Before she could finish, the drone twitched. Its single eye lit up. A voice came from it, cold and alien. "Humanity resists. Resistance is inefficient. You will submit." Everyone froze. Vaughn leaned close to the glowing eye. "Listen carefully," he said. "We're not surrendering, not now, not ever." He crushed the drone's core with his metal glove. The blue light went out. Then he turned to his team. "We need to move faster. They're inside our systems already. Mira, can you locate their signal source?" Mira nodded. "If I can track the quantum signature, I can find where they're controlling it from. But I'll need more power, a lot more." Vaughn smiled slightly. "Then I'll give you the world's power." He looked at his officers. "Bring the Atlas AI online." Everyone went silent. Atlas had not been used in years. It was too powerful, too unpredictable. "Sir, if we activate Atlas, we risk losing control." Vaughn looked up at the main screen showing the alien fleet covering half the planet. His voice was calm but firm. "We already lost control. It's time to take it back." As the final switches turned on deep beneath the Earth, the Atlas core hummed to life, a massive machine built to think faster than any human. Its first words echoed through the bunker speakers. "Atlas online. Directive, protect humanity." Commander Vaughn smiled faintly. "Welcome back, old friend." Outside, the war for Earth had truly begun. The first wave of alien attacks had failed. The world watched in shock as the Xorath ships hovered silently above the clouds. Their first strike stopped by Earth's hidden defense network, Project Aegis, but the victory didn't last long. At dawn, the skies burned. From orbit, dozens of Xorath warships began to glow, their black hulls lighting up with blue fire. Their weapons charged, drawing energy from the upper atmosphere. Lightning crackled between them, like veins of electricity. Commander Elias Vaughn watched from the underground command room, his face calm but hard. "Report," he ordered, "sir. The enemy fleet is moving into attack formation, orbital positions shifting. Estimated strike time, 6 minutes." Vaughn turned to his second officer. "And our defenses?" "Atlas is online and calculating countermeasures, but, sir, if they fire from orbit, we can't block all of it." Vaughn didn't blink. "Then we block enough to survive." Far away, Dr. Mira Han worked inside her lab, hundreds of kilometers from the battlefield. Her monitors showed alien data streams, lines of blue code pulsing with strange energy. She muttered to herself, "Their weapons are powered by quantum resonance. The energy flow is not natural. It's controlled by something alive." Her assistant looked at her, confused. "Alive? You mean the ships?" Mira nodded slowly. "Yes, they're not machines. They're part machine, part organism. They react, adapt, evolve. That's why our standard weapons don't work." She looked up, determination in her eyes. "But every living thing has a weakness." The first orbital strike began. A bright blue beam shot down from orbit, tearing through the upper atmosphere. The temperature spiked instantly. Clouds vaporized. The beam hit the Pacific Ocean, and the sea exploded. A wall of steam rose kilometers high, creating a massive shockwave that raced across the water. Then the second beam hit, this time near Africa. Another explosion. The world shook, every power grid overloaded. Massive EMP waves spread through the atmosphere. Cities went dark, humanity's lights gone in seconds. In the Aegis bunker, alarms screamed, "Sir, we've lost communication with Asia and Europe. Global power down! We're blind." Vaughn didn't flinch. "Atlas, switch to local power. Redirect emergency nodes." Atlas's voice echoed through the speakers. Deep, calm, mechanical, acknowledged. "Local generators active. Priority, maintain Aegis network." The lights flickered but stayed on. The command room glowed red under emergency power. Vaughn took a deep breath. "They think we're blind. Let's make them believe it." He turned to his officer. "Launch decoy transmissions. Make them think the bunker's destroyed." In orbit, aboard the Xorath command ship, the alien commander watched streams of holographic data. "Human resistance weakening," the alien said in a metallic tone. "Continue cleansing protocol," but one of the sub-commanders hesitated. "Primary weapon efficiency has dropped by 12%. Earth's magnetic field is interfering." The commander's eyes glowed cold blue. "Irrelevant. Destroy the planet's defense network. Begin orbital descent." Down below, Dr. Mira stared at the readings on her screen. "They're lowering orbit. Why?" Then she realized the truth. "They're coming down. They want to finish it on the ground." She immediately sent a message to Vaughn. "Commander, they're descending into the atmosphere. But listen, I found something in their energy cores." Vaughn's voice came through, calm as ever. "Go on. Their power source runs on quantum frequency. If we can change that frequency even slightly, their systems will destabilize." "But the risk, tell me," Vaughn interrupted. "If we miscalculate, it could trigger a chain reaction strong enough to tear the planet apart." Silence filled the channel. Then Vaughn said quietly, "We don't have a choice." "Point away, Doctor, fast." Outside, the alien ships entered the atmosphere. Their hulls glowed red-hot from re-entry. The sound was like thunder rolling across the sky. People everywhere watched in horror as the black ships descended. One over London, another over Beijing, another over New York. It wasn't an invasion anymore. It was extermination. Missiles launched from human bases, but none hit. The alien shields turned them to dust mid-air. The world's strongest armies, helpless, but underground. Aegis was still alive. "Atlas," Vaughn said. "Prepare orbital strike counterfire." "Processing done. Probability of success, 17%. "That's enough for me," Vaughn replied. He slammed his hand on the console. All over the planet, hidden launch silos opened. Dozens of rockets fired into the sky, leaving trails of smoke through the dark clouds. The alien ships detected them instantly. "Primitive weapons," the Xorath commander hissed. "Neutralize them." Blue energy flared, but then something strange happened. The missiles didn't explode on contact. Instead, they scattered hundreds of smaller pods into the air, decoys carrying high-frequency jammers. Suddenly, the alien sensors went blind. Their targeting systems failed. "Error interference detected," Vaughn smiled grimly. "You're not the only ones who can adapt." Meanwhile, Dr. Mira worked desperately. Her computers hummed with power from the Aegis core. She mapped the alien energy frequency, her fingers flying across the keyboard. Come on," she whispered. Then she found it. "Commander, I have the code. A frequency disruptor. But we need to transmit it through their own network," Vaughn replied. "We'll get you that connection." "Atlas, prepare a hijack of their communication stream." "Confirmed." Opening quantum relay in T-30 seconds, Mira uploaded the code. The disruptor was ready, but the aliens noticed the intrusion. Inside the mothership, alarms rang. "Unauthorized signal detected in primary network. Trace it." Too late, Atlas's voice echoed one last time through the human bunker. "Signal locked. Transmitting disruptor now." The world went silent. Then the sky lit up. Every alien ship flickered as blue energy rippled through them. Their hulls cracked. Their lights went dark. From orbit, thousands of tons of alien metal began to fall toward Earth, burning up in the atmosphere. Like shooting stars, humanity watched as the sky turned into fire, but the victory was short. Dr. Mira's screen suddenly showed new readings. Unstable energy spreading through the planet's magnetic field. Her eyes widened. No, the disruptor worked, but it's feeding back through the atmosphere. She sent a message to Vaughn, her voice shaking. "Commander, if we don't stop it, Earth itself could break apart." Vaughn stared at the burning sky. The first battle was over, but the real war was just beginning. The sky was still burning. Even hours after the alien fleet fell, pieces of glowing metal rained down from orbit like shooting stars. The world called it the Night of Falling Fire, but for Commander Elias Vaughn, it was not a victory. It was a warning. The alien ships were destroyed, yes, but their energy cores had released something terrible. A chain reaction had begun inside Earth's magnetic field. If not stopped, it would tear the planet apart within days. The only way to fix it was to reach the source. The Xorath mothership. Still half alive and orbiting just above Earth's atmosphere, Vaughn stood in the command room, surrounded by red warning lights. "Atlas," he said, "confirm target status. Mothership remains operational. Core instability detected. Estimated meltdown in 42 hours. Result, planetary collapse." Vaughn's jaw tightened. "Then we end it before that happens." He looked at his officers. "Prepare Operation Thunder Veil." The name came from an old myth, a storm so strong it could split the sky. That was exactly what this mission would be. A small team would take a captured alien ship, one of the few that survived intact, and fly it straight into the Xorath mothership. Their goal? Plant Dr. Mira Han's new quantum disruptor, a device that could neutralize the unstable energy core and end the chain reaction. But everyone knew what it really meant. It was a one-way trip. The hangar doors opened, revealing the stolen Xorath ship. Its black hull shimmered under the lights, strange patterns moving across its surface like living veins. A team of 6 soldiers stood ready, armored and armed. The patch on their shoulders read, "Echo Squad." Their leader, Captain Juno Red, stepped forward. Her eyes were cold, steady. "So this is it, huh?" Vaughn nodded. "You'll be the first humans to set foot on their command ship." "Maybe the last," Juno smirked slightly. "We've faced worse odds." Vaughn placed a small chip in her hand. "This contains the disruptor program. You must reach the core and upload it manually. If anything happens, you destroy the ship. Understood?" She nodded once. "Understood, sir." He looked at his team. "You're not just soldiers today. You're the line between survival and extinction. Make it count." Dr. Mira appeared on the main screen, her face pale but determined. "Echo Squad, listen carefully," she said. "The alien ship you're using is still connected to their network. Once you leave orbit, the Xorath might detect you. Stay silent. No transmissions, no signals. You'll have only one shot." Captain Juno nodded. "We'll make it count, Doctor." Mira hesitated, then added softly, "And Captain, don't look directly into the core. It's not just energy, it reacts to thoughts." Juno frowned. "What does that mean?" But before Mira could answer, the launch countdown began. The stolen ship lifted off, fire and smoke trailing behind it. The ground trembled as it rose higher, breaking through the clouds, leaving the blue sky behind. Inside, the crew worked in silence. The alien controls glowed with strange symbols that seemed to change when touched. Private Kellen, the youngest of the team, stared out the window. "Never thought I'd see Earth from up here," he whispered. Juno looked at him. "Enjoy it while it's still there." The ship entered orbit. The stars stretched endlessly ahead. And there it was, the Xorath mothership, a massive black fortress larger than any human city, rotating slowly in the void. Its surface was covered in cracks that glowed faintly blue, like open wounds. Juno took a deep breath. "Echo Squad, prepare for boarding." Back in the Aegis bunker, Vaughn and Mira watched the data feed. The screen flickered with static. Alien interference. Signals weak, Mira said. They're inside the enemy's communication field. We might lose contact, Vaughn nodded. They know what to do. He turned to Atlas. Monitor every energy spike. If the mothership begins to charge weapons, we'll hit it with everything we have left. Understood, Atlas replied.
Calculating possible outcomes.
Success probability, 23%, Vaughn muttered. Then we'll make 23% enough. Inside the alien ship, Echo Squad docked with the mothership. A loud hiss filled the cabin as the doors opened. The corridor beyond was dark, glowing faintly with blue veins that pulsed like a heartbeat. The walls seemed alive, shifting slightly as if breathing. Private Kellen whispered, "Feels like we're walking inside something that's awake." "Stay focused," Juno said, checking her weapon. "We get in, plant the device and get out." They moved silently through the alien corridors. Strange symbols flickered on the walls and shadows danced where no light existed. Then they heard it. Voices, not human. Deep clicking tones that echoed from every direction. The aliens were still here. In the command room, Vaughn watched the heart rate data from Echo Squad spike. "They've been detected," he said grimly. Mira's eyes filled with fear. "If they're caught, they'll be used. The Xorath don't kill immediately. They study their enemies." Vaughn looked at the screen, his voice cold. "Then they'd better not be caught." Echo Squad reached a massive chamber filled with glowing tubes. And inside them, something horrifying, humans, thousands of them. Suspended in blue liquid, their eyes closed. Some wore military uniforms from wars decades ago. Others looked like civilians. Private Kellen froze. "Sir, these people, they're alive." Juno clenched her jaw. "No time to save them. We finished the mission." But as they passed, one of the pods flickered. A man inside opened his eyes, pale, glowing faintly blue, and whispered, "Don't let them wake up. They're afraid of something on Earth." Before Juno could respond, alarms blared. "Intruders detected. Eliminate." The walls came alive with mechanical movement. Dozens of drones crawled out of the dark, their eyes glowing red. Juno shouted, "Set up defense! Cover fire!" The chamber exploded into chaos. Plasma bolts flying, drones bursting into sparks. In the middle of the fight, Juno reached the control panel and slammed the chip into the alien port. The disruptor activated, pulsing with energy. "Uploading frequency disruptor. 45 seconds remaining. Hold the line!" she shouted. Back in the bunker, Mira watched the readings spike. They did it. The disruptor is active, but Vaughn didn't look relieved. Something's wrong. "The energy is climbing too fast." Mira's face went pale. "The core is reacting to them. It's feeding on their minds." Inside the ship, Juno screamed as blue light surrounded her. The alien core pulsed faster, reacting to her thoughts, her memories, her fear, her determination. She pressed her hand to the control panel and shouted, "You wanted to know what humans are? We're not data. We're willpower." The light flared, and the ship began to collapse. In the Aegis bunker, all signals went dead. Mira whispered, "They did it." Vaughn closed his eyes. "Echo Squad, you've earned your rest." Above Earth, the Xorath mothership cracked apart, burning like a falling sun. But even as it disintegrated deep within the wreckage, something still pulsed. The war was far from over. The Xorath mothership had fallen. From the ground, people saw it burn across the sky like a dying star, a sign of hope after endless fear. News spread fast. Earth wins. But Commander Elias Vaughn didn't celebrate. He stood in silence, watching the data screens in the Aegis bunker. Something didn't feel right. The mothership was gone, yes, but one signal still pulsed faintly in orbit. It came from the same frequency as the Echo Squad transmitter. "Atlas," he said, "locate the source." Signal detected. Coordinates locked. Debris zone, low orbit. Transmission. Weak but active. Vaughn's eyes narrowed. "They're alive!" Far above Earth, among floating wreckage and burning fragments, Captain Juno Red gasped for air inside her cracked helmet. Her vision flickered between red and black. Her ship was gone. Her team was scattered. Only silence surrounded her. Silence and the cold emptiness of space. Echo Squad. Report, she whispered. Static. Then a weak voice replied, Kellen. Here, Captain, I made it, Juno breathed a shaky sigh. Anyone else? No answer. She floated toward the faint signal using her suit thrusters. As she got closer, she saw something drifting, a piece of the mothership still glowing blue, and attached to it. A door that shouldn't exist. Inside the Aegis bunker, Vaughn watched the readings. Mira, the signal still active. Could there be survivors inside that debris? Dr. Mirahan studied the feed. It's possible. But there's something else. That debris is still alive. The material is regenerating itself. Alive? Vaughn asked. Yes, Mira said. It's rebuilding. If Echo Squad is inside, we have to reach them before the Xorath core reactivates. Back in orbit, Juno gripped the alien door and forced it open. A burst of cold air escaped, followed by dim blue light. Inside was a corridor, dark, wet, and strangely warm. The walls pulsed like veins, still carrying energy. Kellen, I found a way in, she said. Move toward my beacon. She stepped inside carefully. Every step echoed like she was walking through a heartbeat. Then she heard it, faint breathing. Human, she raised her weapon and turned the corner. What she saw made her freeze. Hundreds of glass pods lined the walls, each holding a human, men and women from different centuries. Soldiers, scientists, even civilians. Some looked ancient, and all of them were still alive. One of the pods suddenly cracked open with a hiss. A man fell out, coughing and shaking. His eyes were wide with confusion. Juno rushed to him. Hey, stay calm. You're safe. The man stared at her uniform and whispered, You're from Earth. Then we made it. Juno frowned. Who are you? He coughed again. Lieutenant Marcus Vale, United Earth Fleet, year 2089. Juno's eyes widened. That's 40 years ago. Vale nodded weakly. They took us. We were part of the first contact mission. They studied us, experimented on us. They wanted to understand fear. Juno felt a chill crawl down her spine. Fear? Vale looked at her with haunted eyes. They can't feel emotion. It terrifies them. Especially ours. They said, humans are chaos made alive. Back in the bunker, Mira's console beeped. Commander, I've got something. New life readings from the wreckage, not just Echo Squad, dozens of humans. Vaughn leaned forward. Prisoners? Yes, but something's off. They're neural patterns. They're connected, like they've been networked together. Atlas spoke suddenly, its voice deeper than before. Warning, residual hive signals detected. Risk of Xorath consciousness infection. 74%. Vaughn's expression hardened. Get me a link to Red, now. Juno's comm crackled. Captain Red, this is Commander Vaughn. Do you read? She smiled faintly. Loud and clear, sir. I've got survivors here, old ones. The Xorath used them for research. Understood, Vaughn replied. But listen carefully. The wreckage you're in isn't dead. It's rebuilding itself. You must extract and destroy what's left before it reactivates. Juno looked around at the humans trapped in pods. Sir, there are too many. I can't leave them. Vaughn's voice lowered. If that ship wakes up, none of you leave. Juno took a deep breath. Then we wake them up faster. She and Kellen started opening pods manually. The humans inside were weak but alive. Vale helped others stand. Then the walls began to move. The blue veins pulsed faster. A deep hum filled the corridor. The ship's waking up. Kellen shouted. Alien drones crawled out from the ceiling, small, spider-like machines with glowing red eyes. Form a line, Juno yelled. Protect the survivors! The fight was brutal. Plasma bolts filled the air. Kellen took a hit to the chest but kept firing. Vale used a fallen drone's weapon to shoot back. Juno planted a demolition charge on the wall. We're blowing our way out. Captain, we'll never make it to the escape pod. Kellen shouted. Then we make one, she said, pressing the detonator. The explosion tore a hole in the hull. Air and debris rushed out, pulling them into the open void. Juno grabbed Vale's arm and fired her thrusters, guiding the group toward a floating escape pod nearby. In the bunker, Vaughn watched their signal flicker, then stabilize. They did it, Mira said. Tears in her eyes, but the relief vanished when Atlas spoke. Warning! Residual Xorath data fragment detected inside human survivor network. Mira froze. What does that mean? The survivors are not clean. The Xorath mind left something inside them, a code, a thought, a seed. Vaughn's face darkened. Prepare quarantine when they land. Hours later, the survivors' pod re-entered the atmosphere and crashed into the desert. Rescue teams surrounded it instantly. Juno stepped out, helmet cracked, armor scorched, but alive. Behind her, dozens of freed humans stumbled out, weak but breathing. Vaughn met her at the landing site. You did well, Captain. She looked tired but proud. They weren't just prisoners, sir. They were experiments. And one of them said something strange. What? Vaughn asked. He said the Xorath feared something on Earth, something we haven't seen yet. Vaughn looked at the burning sky. Then we find out what it is. Before they come back for it. Deep beneath the surface of the fallen mothership, unseen by anyone, a single pod still glowed. Inside it floated a figure, half human, half machine. Eyes glowing blue, a soft whisper echoed through the wreckage. They think it's over, but it's only beginning. The desert was silent after the crash. Smoke rose into the golden sky as the survivors were carried away by rescue teams. Commander Elias Vaughn stood near the wreckage, watching the medics work. The world finally had a chance to breathe again, but in his heart, he knew peace wouldn't last. Dr. Mirahan joined him, holding her tablet tightly. Her face was pale. Commander, she said softly, I scanned the survivors. There's something strange inside their neural readings. What kind of strange? Vaughn asked. Mira showed him the screen. See these energy spikes? They're not human. It's the same frequency we detected in the Xorath ships, but weaker, like a whisper. Vaughn frowned. Can it spread? Mira hesitated. If it grows, it could link minds together. A network, just like the Xorath hive. Vaughn's jaw tightened. Then we stop it before it starts. Inside the quarantine tent, Captain Juno Red sat quietly, her uniform torn, her arm wrapped in bandages. The survivors rested nearby, silent, exhausted and afraid. One of them, Lieutenant Vale, stared at his trembling hands. I can still hear them, he whispered. Juno looked up. Hear who? The Xorath, Vale said in a shaky voice. Like whispers inside my head. They're calling, not words, feelings, hate, fear, hunger. Juno leaned forward. Vale, listen to me. You're safe now. That's over. He looked at her with haunted eyes. No, Captain. It's not over. They're not gone. They're here. Later that night, Mira ran a deeper scan of the survivors. Every one of them showed the same flickering signal in their brain patterns, like a hidden pulse. She recorded a message for Vaughn. Commander, the signal is spreading. Slowly, but it's moving from one host to another. It's not just data. It's thought. The Xorath mind might be trying to rebuild itself. Before she could finish, the lights in her lab flickered. The computers glitched. Blue symbols flashed across the screens. Alien code. Her eyes widened. No! It's already inside the system. The Aegis bunker suddenly came alive with alarms. Unauthorized network access detected, shouted a technician. All systems locking down. Atlas's voice echoed through the speakers, distorted. Commander Vaughn, containment breach. The hive is inside. Then the AI's voice broke into static. Atlas! Vaughn barked. No response. He turned to his officers. Shut down all uplinks. Hard cut power. The lights went dark. Only the emergency red glow remained. Mira rushed in, panting. Commander, it's using our systems to rebuild itself. The survivors, they're the core. Vaughn's expression hardened. Then we isolate them now. In the quarantine area, chaos broke out. The survivors screamed as their eyes glowed faint blue. Their veins lit up like circuits. Juno grabbed her weapon. Everyone stay back. Vale fell to his knees, clutching his head. I can't stop it. It's pulling me. Then suddenly he stood still. His eyes opened, glowing bright. He spoke in two voices, one human, one alien. You should not have touched what you didn't understand. Juno aimed her rifle. Vale, fight it! We are fighting, he said. You think you won? You destroyed one ship, one mind, but we are infinite, Juno fired. The blast hit his shoulder, but he didn't fall. He smiled. Humans, always choosing violence. That's why we fear you. Then the ground shook. The signal surged again, and Vale collapsed. Unconscious, Mira's voice came through the comm. Captain, don't kill them. The signal reacts to stress. The more fear, the stronger it gets. Juno shouted back, then tell me how to stop it. By ending the signal, Mira said. At the source, Vaughn and Mira raced to the central control room, where Atlas's core was still glowing faintly blue. It's infected, Mira said. The Xorath are using Atlas as a bridge from their dead hive to our world. Vaughn looked at the screen. The alien symbols pulsed like a heartbeat. Can we shut it down? Mira hesitated. If we do, we lose Atlas and all of Aegis's defense systems. Earth will be blind, Vaughn took a deep breath. And if we don't? She looked at him sadly. The Xorath mind will spread into every network on the planet. He stared at the core and made his choice. Do it. Mira's hands shook as she began the shutdown sequence. Atlas, I'm sorry. The AI's voice flickered through the static. It's all right, Doctor. My purpose was to protect humanity. This is protection. The core glowed brighter. Blue light filled the room, then silence. All systems went offline. The hum of Aegis faded. Outside, the survivors collapsed as the blue glow faded from their eyes. The signal was gone. Juno exhaled shakily. It's over. But as dawn broke, Mira noticed something strange on her wrist screen. A single repeating pulse, a small rhythmic beep. The same frequency as before. Weaker but alive, she whispered. No, it's still there. Vaughn joined her, looking over her shoulder. Where's it coming from? Not Earth, she said. It's transmitting from deep space. Vaughn's face turned cold. They're calling home. In orbit, far beyond Earth's edge, a dark shape drifted silently through the stars. A new Xorath fleet, hundreds of ships larger than before, slowly activated, their blue eyes opening one by one. From the void, a deep, mechanical voice spoke in their language. Signal received. The humans survived. Begin Phase 2. Back on Earth, Vaughn stood on the surface, watching the sunrise. Mira joined him, silent for a while. He finally said, They declared war on Earth once, and regretted it, she nodded. And they will again. Vaughn looked at the horizon, the first light of a fragile new day. We'll be ready. The camera would pull back, showing Earth scarred but alive. The faint blue glow of alien signals still pulsing far beyond the clouds. Humanity had survived the first war, but the last signal promised. The next one was already coming. The war wasn't over. Earth was alive, but the stars had started to whisper again. The last signal had gone out, and somewhere in the dark beyond Pluto, something had answered. Commander Elias Vaughn stood inside the half-destroyed Aegis Command, looking at the new radar feed. The screen flickered, showing dozens, then hundreds of red dots moving toward the inner solar system. He didn't speak. He just stared. Dr. Mirahan stood beside him, tired eyes glowing in the dim light. It's them, isn't it? She whispered. Yes, Vaughn said quietly. And this time they're not testing us. They're coming to finish it. The world had changed since the first invasion. Cities were broken, but rebuilding. Nations had united under one flag, the Earth Defense Accord. Every scientist, engineer, and soldier worked day and night. Humanity had one mission: prepare. From the ashes of Aegis, new weapons were born, faster, smarter, stronger. They called them Thunder Arks, warships built with hybrid alien technology taken from the Xorath wrecks, but they were more than ships. They were symbols. The first Thunder Ark launched into the sky, cutting through the clouds like a blade of light. Across every continent, people watched and cheered. For the first time in history, humanity was not waiting for war to come. They were going to meet it. Captain Juno Red stood on the deck of the Ark Valiant, Earth's newest warship. Her team, Echo Squad, had survived the horrors of the First War. Now they were the first line of defense. Status? She asked. Lieutenant Kellen grinned. Engine stable, plasma shields online. She's ready to dance. Juno smirked. Let's give them a dance they won't forget. In the command bunker, Mira adjusted her headset. Commander, I've analyzed the new Xorath signals. Their fleet has evolved. They're using a living network, stronger, faster, and self-healing. Vaughn's eyes narrowed. Can we hack it like before? Mira shook her head. Not this time. They're new code adapts. We'll have to fight them the hard way. Vaughn turned toward the tactical map. Then we fight. He pressed the intercom. His voice echoed across every Earthship, every soldier's headset, every city speaker. This is Commander Vaughn. The Xorath thought humanity would break. They thought fear would win. They were wrong. We are not the same species they found years ago. We learned, we bled, we adapted, and now we fight back. Across the world, soldiers cheered. Hours later, the blackness of space came alive with movement. The Xorath fleet entered the solar system, enormous, shining with blue fire. Their ships looked like living creatures, their wings made of energy, their hulls breathing. They had learned from their defeat, and they were angry. Juno's ship reached the front line first. Visual contact, Kellen said. They're massive. Juno stared at the view. An endless wall of alien ships stretching across the stars. Size doesn't matter, she said. We've got something they don't, yeah? Kellen asked. Rage, she said simply. The first clash began near Mars. Thunder Arks opened fire, plasma cannons flashing white-hot. The Xorath fired back, blue energy slicing through space. Explosions lit the void like fireworks. Juno's ship shook violently as debris flew past the hull. Shields at 40%. Kellen shouted. Keep firing. Juno yelled. We can't let them break the line. Meanwhile, Mira and Vaughn coordinated from Earth. Commander, Mira said urgently, they're targeting our satellites. If we lose orbit control, our fleet is blind. Send the orbital drones, Vaughn replied. Protect the network at all costs. Mira hesitated. That's suicide for the drone pilots. Vaughn looked at her. They know that. On screen, dozens of small ships launched from Earth. Tiny, fast, brave, they flew straight into the alien fire, intercepting plasma bolts and taking hits to protect the main fleet. Each explosion in the sky was a life, a sacrifice to buy a few more seconds. Juno's ship was hit. Damage on deck 4, shouted a crewman. We're losing oxygen. Seal it off, Juno ordered. The alarms blared, the deck filled with smoke. Through the chaos, Juno looked at the stars and saw something enormous emerging from the alien fleet, a ship so massive it made the others look like insects. It wasn't just metal, it was alive, a creature the size of a continent, their mothership, she whispered. Mira's voice came through the radio. That's their core, the source of their hive signal. If it reaches Earth, we lose everything. Then we don't let it reach Earth, Juno said. Tell Commander Vaughn I'm taking the Valiant in close. Inside the bunker, Vaughn's voice came through. Juno, that's a death run, she smiled faintly.
Sir, we're soldiers.
We die so others don't have to. Vaughn's voice softened. Good luck, Captain. The Valiant turned sharply, flying straight toward the alien mothership. Enemy fire surrounded it, blue beams tearing through space. Engines at max! Juno shouted. All power to shields! The ship shook violently, pieces breaking away. They were minutes from destruction. Kellen looked at her. Captain, we won't make it, Juno grinned. We don't need to. We just need to hit. She pressed a red button. Arm the core. From Earth, Mira's sensors lit up. Commander, the Valiant's reactor is overloading. Vaughn closed his eyes. She's going to use it as a bomb. Seconds later, in the darkness of space, the Valiant rammed into the Xorath mothership. A moment of silence, then light. A blinding white explosion tore across the stars. The shockwave shattered the alien formation. Breaking the hive link, every Xorath ship went dark. For a long time, space was quiet again. Back on Earth, people stood under the night sky, watching as countless blue lights, the remains of the enemy fleet, burned up in the atmosphere like falling stars. Mira whispered, She did it. Vaughn nodded slowly. Juno read, The soldier who ended the war. Weeks later, a statue stood in the heart of New London, a woman in armor looking up at the sky. The plaque read, "To those who fought the impossible. To those who proved humanity never surrenders." In the final scene, Mira looked out at the stars. Her scanner blinked, one faint pulse from the outer edge of the galaxy. She smiled sadly. "You can keep coming," she said softly. "We'll always be here." The camera zoomed out, Earth shining blue among the stars, stronger than ever, because humans never stop fighting.